Hi, my name is Lavinia Plonka, and I am a somatic movement educator. And in some ways, you can say that I have been doing somatic movement my entire life and educating myself at the same time. When I was a kid, I was so incredibly clumsy. My parents, bless their hearts, decided that the only help for me would be to send me to ballet school. And I was an extremely enthusiastic ballet dancer at Miss Shirley's studio, but I was never really a great dancer, just extremely emotional, which led me to a career. I didn't ever stop moving. I was passionate about it, and I found my place as a mime, a clown, a physical comedian, and managed to carve a career out of it for about 25 years. Unfortunately, I had a lot of pain because I wasn't able to reconcile my life, my clumsiness, all of that stuff that was going on with my performing. And that was around the time when I realized that, well, geez, you can somatically educate yourself to do great illusions, to make people laugh, to do all kinds of things with your body, but still be in a lot of pain. And that was around the time that I discovered the work of Moshe Feldenkrais. He created something called the Feldenkrais method. And through that process, I was actually able to heal myself as well as integrate all of the learning that I had done in my 25 years as a performing artist and use that along with the work that he brought to teach others, so that I began to bring the emotions and movement improvement and reduction of pain all together. You know, some of the things that he said stay with me to this day. I've been practicing the Feldenkrais method now for over 35 years. One of the things that he said is that life is a process. Improve the process, and you improve life itself. Another thing that he said was, my aim is to make the impossible possible, the possible easy, and the easy elegant. And one of his sayings was that this work is designed to help us realize our avowed and unavowed dreams. Whether that means that your dream is to be able to get up and down off the floor, run up and down the stairs, or win an Academy Award, it doesn't matter. By developing awareness of yourself, use of yourself in a more constructive way, somatic movement education can help you bring your emotional life, your physical life, and your intellectual life into harmony. I have been experimenting and exploring the relationship of Feldenkrais awareness through movement lessons in relationship to the expression of our emotions, as well as connections to ancient wisdom, different discoveries from spiritual disciplines, and kind of bringing them all together. You know, it's a beautiful thing, these movements that we do. For example, there's an awareness through movement lesson where you move your arms in this particular way, right? What we call wringing our arms. And when you move your arms and you lower your head and you round your back, it brings us to a place of humility, acceptance. When I open my arms, raise my chest up, suddenly something changes in my whole being because I've expanded myself and I've taken that breath in. And just using this movement that came from one of Moshe Feldenkrais' classic lessons, I'm able to explore an entire repertoire of emotions. For example, my arms going up and my head going down, or my arms going down and my chest going forward. And so I've been integrating all of these different ways of how we can use that into a process that I'm calling Kanisa, bringing my research into the emotions and the physical body. One of the things that fascinates me is the relationship of my face, not just to my expressions of emotions. I mean, as a mime, of course, I was using my face all the time, but I didn't know why these facial expressions were related to the different emotions that we were experiencing. As I've continued to research and understand that the muscles of the face influence my postural muscles, influence the way different neurochemicals are moving through me simply by the way I use my facial expression. And so I thought one practice that I would share with you is just becoming more aware of the face. And I would actually invite you to close your eyes for this experience, even though I'll be here. And if you just close your eyes right now and sense your face, and sense whether it feels to you that you're in a neutral place, whether your two eyes feel like they're resting in the same way in your head, or even if it feels like your eyes are resting. You can sense your nose and whether it feels like your nostrils are flared or relaxed. Notice whether your teeth are touching each other or slightly separated, whether your mouth feels a little bit crooked or not. Allowing your face to feel as relaxed as possible. And then just imagine that the corners of your eyes, the outside corners of your eyes and the outside corners of your mouth start to move outward a little bit, right? They're just moving outward a little bit. You don't even have to do anything. Just the intention, the thought of moving those muscles outward as if you were literally abducting, right? We talk in physical fitness about abductors and adductors. Well, guess what? Everything abducts and adducts from my midline. Feeling how those muscles move apart from each other, allowing me to soften into maybe a gentle smile. And then, can you bring them in? Allowing your nose to get a little tight. Your nostrils will start to flare just naturally. The eyelids come up and in a little bit, tightening your mouth. And notice what happens to your breath as your face gets tight. As you change, bringing your forehead a little lower, everything coming inward. And then let it come back out again, just to where you feel comfortable. And sense your face. Lie on your side. It doesn't matter which side you lie on. Pick the one that's most comfortable for you. Draw your knees up, bent as if you were sitting in a chair, and extend your arms straight in front of you. If you need a little pillow for under your head to be comfortable, please do whatever you need to make it easy for yourself. And begin a movement of just raising your top arm in the direction of the ceiling. How do you do that? Do you start with your wrist, your shoulder, your breath, raising and then lowering, and begin to add, following the movement with your eyes and your head, as if there was a string connecting your nose to your hand or an invisible line, so that your arm is drawing your head to start to look towards the ceiling and then return. And then, following your curiosity, begin to let your arm travel further backwards towards the opposite direction, as if you were opening your arm all the way out. Notice what you have to do in order to let your arm go further. Do you need to lift your knee in the air? Do you need to hold your breath? Does your head stop moving at a certain point? Play for a moment, and then bring your arm back down. Pause a moment. Reflect. Ask yourself how you felt about doing that movement. And now you're going to do the movement again, but we're going to add a constraint. However you did the movement before, you can continue with your arm and your head, but this time, let your legs remain as they are. They stay on the floor, they stay together, and you don't go any further than you can, just moving your upper trunk area. Just a few times. As you're doing that movement, take note of your perception, of your limitations, of your possibilities, of how you feel about this movement. And then bring your arm back down and rest. Now simply raise your arm up to the ceiling. It doesn't matter whether your head is looking at it or not, but you're in that position where your fingers are in the direction, and you don't have to be stiff or straight, just letting the arm be up in the air. And begin reaching your arm up for the ceiling, as if you were reaching for something, and then bringing your arm back to where it was so that you can feel your shoulder blade sliding along your rib cage, along your back, so your arm reaches up and then it returns back to its resting place. So you're not bringing it all the way down, it's just going, sliding up and sliding back. And then see if you can add a little twist to your arm, as if you were screwing in a light bulb on the way up and then screwing it out on the way down. And then bring your arm down, rest a moment. And then raise your arm back up again, repeat the movement, but this time, can you reverse the direction that you were turning your arm, feeling what it's like to go the other way? Maybe it's more pleasant. Maybe it's more difficult, and that was why you chose the easier way. Why do we make the choices that we make? Can I know why I do what I do? And then bring your arm back down in front of you. Go back to the original movement of raising your arm, following it with your head, traveling to the other side, and see how that feels for you now. Has anything changed? And then take a moment to just rest on your back. Just roll onto your back and see if there's a difference in the sensation of one arm versus the other arm, one shoulder versus the other shoulder. Roll your head from one side to the other side, and then come back to your side. Once again, raise your arm up to the ceiling. And this time, could you just begin a gentle movement of the arm up in the air, waving back and forth? So you've raised that same arm up into the air and you're moving your arm forward and back. You can let your head go with you, so it's kind of like you were reed floating in the breeze, or ripples of a wave, just allowing the arm to sensuously move back and forth without any goal, without trying to accomplish anything. And then bring your arm back, down, pause. And then raise your arm up again. And this time, as you move your arm in one direction, could you move your head in the opposite direction, so that you're looking away from your arm and then you're looking towards your arm. Feeling that sensation in the neck, as if you were really curious about your arm. What's my arm doing? I don't know. I want to move away from my arm. Back and forth. And then bring your arm back down. Pause a moment. And once more, go back to your original movement, lifting your arm, letting it travel. See, how far does it go now? How do you feel about it now? What's happening in your chest, in your breath, in your perception of yourself? And then let that arm opening out to the side roll you onto your back. Take a moment to absorb the sensations of well-being, ease, a quality of resting. Anytime you want, you can replay this video and do it on the other side.